Independence, Honorable Mshemeza, will represent the Dean of Independence.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I support the motion to pay tribute to the late Honourable Mpanga. I knew the late for many years, but I'm going to pay tribute on 3 areas. The first one is in the area of gender equality and women's empowerment. The late made a fundamental contribution in formulating the national gender policy. I remember very well, she was very particular on the issue of gender mainstreaming. We need to reflect now, as we pay tribute to her, how far we have gone on the issue of gender mainstreaming. How are we performing on the issue of gender responsive budgeting? This is an area where we need to reflect as we remember the late Mpanga. The second area I want to pay tribute is in education. I also recall very well that she made contribution to the education policy, and at that time, the review that led to the popular 1992 government white paper. I know right now there is also a process going on reviewing education, but this is the time to remember the late Mpanga. And I believe if she was still alive, even in her old age, she would still make a contribution on the ongoing education review. The third area I want to pay tribute is in the area of integrity. Right Honourable Speaker, from what I observe, we are about to lose the war on corruption. We are about to lose the war on corruption. And the late Mpanga was a person who was really a person of integrity, who would not engage in corrupt practices. And I want to suggest, Right Honourable Speaker, that the 3 arms of government, you could have a caucus. I remember at the time of the term limit debate, I made a suggestion at that time that the 3 organs, the top leaders, could caucus, because there was a debate whether we should go for a referendum on term limit. Yet the Constitution was very clear that there is the issue that would be handled by Parliament. My wise counsel at that time was accepted. I want again to give a wise counsel that the leadership of Parliament, the leadership of the leadership of judiciary, and the executive have a caucus behind the scenes and talk about the issues of corruption. Because in my assessment, we are about to lose the war on corruption. As we remember the late Mpanga, a person of integrity, a person who would not take a bribe or who would not engage in corruption, this is the time to take these matters seriously. It is not enough to say we are going to fight corruption. We need to really to take the bull by its horns. May the soul of the late Mpanga rest in eternal peace.
Thank you. So, honorable colleagues, I'm going to open up debate. In opening the debate, I will start with 4 people. First 4 people. 1, Honorable Muyingo. Then I will add on the 2 members of Parliament who are with her, with the late Joyce Mpanga in Parliament. I know Honorable Cecilia Ogwal and Honorable Naume Kawasharira. If there is, and Honorable Namuyangu, I'd forgotten, yes. Then the member of Parliament, area member of Parliament for Baga, where she has been, Honorable Ababaka Kawadia. Then I will open to the rest. Now, honorable colleagues, I would request, I don't want to start cutting you off, but be conscious that there are other colleagues who want to submit. Okay? Yeah, so just be cautious. The moment you go beyond, that's when I will interrupt you. Honorable Muyingo?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I stand here to support the motion to pay tribute to Owek, the late Joyce Lovinsa Masembe Mpanga. Right Honorable Speaker, the cruel hand of death has robbed this country of a distinguished educationist, a great parent to many, a teacher, a role model, a performer. As you may have heard from the message that came from the Prime Minister, after she had completed her primary education in Nalinya Rwantale, which is in Luwero district, she went to Gayaza, where she was elected head girl for 2 consecutive years. This is not it has not happened to anybody before, just because of her great performance. Right Honorable Speaker, many of us in the education sector, she has been our role model. Many of the policies we have in the education, in the Ministry of Education, she greatly contributed. Greatly. She wanted to see every child in Uganda of school-going age go to school, stay there until one completes the education cycle. When you read what she left behind, she really is right that we recognize her as a distinguished educationist, a distinguished parent, a great teacher who inspired many of us. I'll tell you, I followed the late very closely, especially when she joined the Ministry of Education. She has always used, even after here, she has always used a parliamentary language. I don't remember a day when she used insulting, abusive words as it happens these days. We shall remember her as a distinguished educationist, a charitable person, and a strong advocate of gender equality, inclusivity, a pioneer of the affirmative action interventions, as you heard, in admitting female students at Makerere University and other universities, as you can see now. Those days, it was just 1 or 2. And of course, you remember that she was a member of the National Council of Women, which, among others, lobbied the Odoki Commission about women's representation in Parliament and lower local government councils. Many of you, the ladies here in this house, this is something you should not take lightly. If it was not for her, life would have been very different. Right Honorable Speaker, while all of us are mourning, I want in a special way to extend my sincere condolences to Owek David Frederick Kisitu Mpanga, your siblings, and the entire family. May God protect you, comfort you in this very trying moment. May her soul rest in eternal peace for God and my country.
Thank you, Honorable. Honorable Cecilia Ogwal.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. It is very important that we as women should appreciate this session, because it has allowed us to appreciate the role a woman can play if she is given an opportunity. Right Honorable Speaker, while I pass my condolences to the family of Joyce Mpanga, I want to let you know that the whole of Africa is mourning the daughter of Uganda who has fallen and whose memory has brought us today here. Right Honorable Speaker, the casket before us is of our dear sister, our dear friend, a freedom fighter, a dedicated wife, a widow who can feed orphans without begging anywhere, A woman who has demonstrated that you give me education, I can do anything over and above what a man can do. This is the lady before us. She was an educationist, a politician, a philosopher. I have thought of words. This son of mine, naughty one called Mwanga Kivumi, was asking me, are you going to speak to us in English or in Luo? I said, you try to understand what I'm saying. Don't care how I've said it. So I hope by now he's catching up. Right Honorable Speaker, Joyce Mpanga left Uganda in tears, but also left Africa feeling that sense of loss. Because Joyce's role in the liberation struggle in the early days, when women's role was purely in the kitchen and giving birth, that was the time Joyce stood up. The whole of Africa is standing with Uganda in mourning this great lady called Joyce Mpanga. As you know, I'm the chair of the Uganda chapter of the Pan-African Women Organization. And it's important you come to know, you must know, that PAO, or Pan-African Women Organization, came to be before OAU came to be. Before African Union was formed, the women of Africa came together, including Joyce Mpanga and some of our great women of Uganda, stood together and they gave birth to PAO in 1962 before OAU was formed in 1963. Really, how can you forget Joyce Mpanga? Right Honorable Speaker, I've heard from the Prime Minister that Joyce was the first woman to be elected to the Legico, or Joyce probably was the first woman to represent women in the Legico. I think all of us must reread the answer and our history. My own understanding is that Joyce was elected in 1960. Joyce was elected in 1960 when Legico was elected in 1957 or 58. The process started in 57. And so the Legico was is already established in 1958, and there were women there. And you know very well that our own daughter, Florence Lubega, was one of the ladies by election in that Legico. So I just want us to understand a little better, because that's why when government is celebrating heroes of Uganda, they forget these giant heroes. These are heroes beyond heroes, who should be remembered before you think of anybody else. So you talk about heroes in Uganda. I'm urging the Prime Minister and the government, please remember those women. They were already bashed by the tradition and culture. They suffered. Today, all we are asking you to do is remember them. Remember the role they have played. That's all. They're not begging for anything. Now somebody is saying, oh, Joyce would have participated in the formation of policies. Joyce just died yesterday. How many times did you call on her to consult her for anything in the development of either women agenda or anything? She was an outstanding intellectual. Why didn't you call on her? We have here on the gallery, we have the Buteles. Yona Kanyumozi died, an outstanding economist. Nobody called on him to make a contribution. Let's wake up as Ugandans and use our own resources before we go out to look for Europeans. So Joyce, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing. I want to enrich your history. Some of you look at us with a lot of envy and say, this is one of these ladies who have been in parliament for the longest, one of the longest serving women. And you think it is something to enjoy. It's not. It is a journey of pain. If you are really a woman, it's not business as usual. It's a journey of pain. It's a journey of pain. It's a journey when your husband has demand on you, a journey when the children has demand on you, a journey when a fellow woman is fighting you, a journey when everybody is against you. But you have to stand up and prove you are stronger than the men who are fighting you. Joyce, thank you. Yeah, even the co-wives are fighting you. And the stepchildren are fighting you. Even those who DNA may not match with their husband. Right Honorable Speaker, forgive me for being emotional, but the days of Joyce has triggered something unusual in me. And forgive me for that. I want to remind you that before Joyce entered Parliament to join her sister Lubega, an Irish-born lady called Boyce and an Indian-born lady who was my namesake, Dorothy Barbara Sabine, were the representatives of women in the legislature prior to the election of 1958. So we were represented by foreigners. As you, Speaker, bring some Europeans here and some Americans here, and you talk about the gender agenda or the policies that the Joyce worked for, what would be their contribution? That is the history of Uganda, the history of girl child in Uganda. We were represented in the legislature by foreigners until eventually, slowly by slowly, even by nomination, people joined in. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm not here to talk about the usual that you people have talked about or the government has picked up from the Google's record. But I just want to say that we are celebrating the role played by our own Ugandan daughter in the legislature. Joyce did a lot, although she was not so much of a loud talker, but Joyce did a lot and used that quiet character of hers, confident, to push a lot for this country, not only for women, but for the whole entire education system, as the minister has just shared with us. I want to let you know that apart from Joyce playing a role in the politics of Uganda, it is amazing, and Speaker, if you would allow me, it is amazing that the struggle for liberation of Africa, a young girl like Joyce at her age got involved. And not only Joyce, some unthinkable young girls got involved and very vigorously. And they made sure Pan-African Women Organization came to be and drove the affairs of the liberation struggle from the front of women, leaving the men still fighting who will be our chair if we come together as OAU. But the women came up and they formed an organization. Allow me to read just a few names, which some of you may want to reflect one of these days. The mothers of Africa. Bibi Titi Mohamed of Tanzania. I'm sure many of you have read about her. Jean Martin Sisi of Guinea, who was the first Secretary General of PAO. Ruth Nato of Angola. Hua Keitha of Mali. Palma Kisosonkole, I think many people thought she was a Ugandan, and I think she was a Ugandan. But I think later on, when you look deeper, you find that she is from South African origin. That's what it came to be. Rebecca Mulira, our own Ugandan. Margaret Mambui Kenyatta, the daughter of Kenyatta. Joyce Mpanga, our own, please. Even if we are born in, clap for her. She was number 8 in the list of the founder mothers of PAO. Fatia Betaha from Algeria. Litimani Muthoni, the writer, the journalist from Kenya. You have all read her book, My Blood is Not on Sale. Foibi Asio, the former MP from Kenya and also a member of the Legico then before independence. Albertina Sisulu from South Africa. Maria Nyerere, our own from Tanzania, and several others. So these are the founder mothers. And I beg you, if you have any differences with Joyce Mpanga, the children have repented. Some of us women who are still alive will repent. But please always remember Joyce Mpanga and her team, who did not only fight for liberation of Africa, not only to liberate holistically, but also to liberate women. Please always remember the role that Mama here has played. Always remember. That is what I'm begging of you. Joyce, along with other women, of course, converged in Addis Ababa in 2018, together with one of the daughters. I don't know whether she's around. That daughter accompanied the mother in 2018 to revive the activities of Pan-African Women Organization in Africa so that we can become vibrant again and stop the guns which are raging all over Africa. That was the role that Joyce Mpanga did in Addis Ababa recently, in 2018, to make sure that we shut a new program of how we can silence guns in Africa and start the journey for development and unity in Africa. That is the role she has played. And I want us to say that Joyce, now that she has entered the casket, though many of us will not want, and I'm sure if we were to ask the family members, they will say she could have waited maybe another 1 month or 2 months. But the question is, she would have to enter anyway. So now that we have agreed with God that she has entered the casket and she's going, what message would she leave with us? I think that is our challenge now. How do we remember Joyce as an educationist, a pioneer woman mobilizer, a distinguished teacher? How do we remember her? I would want you to remember that Joyce Mpanga, the husband dying and leaving her young, and she was able to rear those children whose names were read. Really? I'm sure you heard. And you ask yourself, Speaker, you are young. God forbid, if your wife were to leave, let's just pray it will not happen. I'm giving it time. Young as you are, or my son David here, the wife decide to go, and we wait for 20 years or 30 years, and say, now give us your accountability. You will hear, he married this one, then left 2 children, then I... So really, and why I'm saying this, I want the Ministry of Education to stand up to the call we are making today. Let us increase the budget on girl child education. Because Joyce has been able to prove you educate a girl, you educate the entire community and the entire country. Joyce's children did not put a burden on the family. of anyone, did not put a burden on the government. The mother was able to stand up and provide for the family and the children. That is a commendable message, which has left with us, the women. So we must walk in our footsteps. Joyce Mama, thank you very much for what you have done. As a widow, you have left us a very rich history. You have not left shame with the children. You don't have to explain, this one, I think my half-brother, you know, after my father died, then something happened, I don't know. But then this... Right, Honorable Speaker, I am here to conclude.
Thank you.
I stepped on the live wire, I didn't know. But take it or leave it. Fellow mourners, the title of the book of our dear sister here is it sad news? Is not a boy, whatever it is. But I want us today to change that story. And I wish the family could agree. The second edition must start from today. That it is a blessing Joyce was a girl. That is the message. It's a blessing Joyce was born a girl. That is the message I want to leave here today. Speaker, whether you want to endorse it or not, I've spoken it. It is recorded in Parliament. It is a blessing that Joyce was born a girl. My dear family, I stand with you in this morning. We celebrate the life of our sister. We are not mourning. We are just celebrating her rich life. And we hope that the Lord God will lead us in that path, which is difficult to walk, but we will all try. May God bless you all.
Thank you. So, honorable colleagues, you've seen why, we needed to give our mama enough time. But if you listen to her seriously, there are people we should be looking up to, but also looking out for. Last time when I came from visiting Mama Rhoda Karema, I told you, honorable colleagues, and I said, you can make arrangements and you reach out to such people. I know Mama Miri Obote, if you talk to Honorable Kena, would make some arrangements. My mother is in Mitoma, so it might be difficult for you to go to Mitoma and then you come back for a parliamentary sitting, so you can exclude her. We have those we know extremely very well that played a very, very critical role. And you can learn a lot from them, really a lot. And sometimes, to be honest, these people are ornery. They want to speak to us, but they can't reach us. They cannot come to Parliament to look out for us. But sometimes they want to speak to us, even writing to them, by the way. I saw, Father Grams? Yeah. Saying, he's looking for letters, just hearing from you. But